One day, about a week and a half or 2 weeks after disclosure, in a very heated but yet sober moment, Samantha said a statement to me that was probably the most life-changing statement for that season of my life that she could say to me. It completely cut my legs out from underneath me and caused me to see that Samantha was going to get up on her own 2 feet, and that I really had it wrong about Samantha in many ways. And she said to me, "Samuel, you're a great dad. You're a phenomenal dad, but I can't stay married to you because you're such a good dad." And for a long time, at the time my kids were 6, 5, and to my chagrin, 5 weeks old. So it was a unique time in the house. And when she said that to me, it cut me deep, because I had relied upon my great fathering capabilities, being the fun dad. I had relied on that so much that when she said that to me, it struck at the core of my scaffolding, because I thought, well, she's not going anywhere. She's not going to divorce me. She's not going to separate. We're going to be fine because I'm such a great dad, and she can't be without the great dad, so she'll get over it. Now, I may have not verbalized that, and I may not have even been able to put that into words at that time, but looking back, my mindset was one of such deception and corruption that that's what I was thinking and feeling in my tone, in my expression, in my mindset of complete and utter deception. I'm such a great dad. Really? You're going to divorce me? Come on. We know that you need me so that these kids can be fathered. And when she said that to me, it knocked me down. It really did. And she wasn't trying to be vindictive, and she wasn't trying to knock me down. She was just communicating out of her heart, because quite honestly, she was suffering from some very minor but yet significant signs of PTSD. And I'll tell you, there was a point where she started to take the power back. And this is where it gets interesting, because I started to see that, Samantha is a real go-getter. She has lists for lists. When I go to the store, I have a list. I have 2 lists. And then when I'm at the store, I'm going to get a series of 3 or 4 texts with things that she forgot on her list for her list. So she's a go-getter. She's okay, look, here's what's happened. I'm kind of a mess, but I'm going to do work. And so when the dust settled, it was about 3 weeks or so, she began to start to read. The internet, wasn't filled with stuff the way it is now. But she was talking to people, she was praying, she was reading, she was doing some reconnaissance, to look at phone records. I mean, she was getting after it, but she wasn't just going to curl up in bed and lay there for hours on end. We had 3 kids. We had a 5-week-old child. It was one of those moments where I started to see that she was standing up on her own 2 feet, and it was changing the way I saw her. She was not going to just sit there and die. And I was watching a movie the other night, Shawshank Redemption, and there's a quote in it that's just beautiful. And Morgan Freeman says, "It's time to get busy living or get busy dying." And I want to say that to you betrayed spouses. One of the most enticing things that Samantha did, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, is one of the most enticing and wooing things that really changed the way I saw Samantha was how she got up and she decided she was going to heal. She wasn't sure about the marriage. No. She wasn't getting up and let's go, here, we're going to go heal the marriage. No. She said, I'm going to get up and I'm going to get work and ministry and attention for me. She reached out to this counselor friend who did some work with her over the phone. She talked to a woman who was far more advanced in counseling and pastoring, and so she spent hours on the phone with her. It was just one of those things where I was completely perplexed, because I had this opinion in my mind that I almost had to have to justify so much of my hypocrisy that when she was getting up and she was empowering herself, it really enticed me, it wooed me, it started to make me see what an idiot I had become, and it started to change the way I saw her. And so I just want to encourage you, as a betrayed spouse, get up. Get busy living or get busy dying. Now listen, when I say that, that's not a football coach. I know that you have kids maybe. You have 30 years in the bank, 40 years in the bank with this spouse. You have an uncertain future. You may not work. You may be a stay-at-home mom or even a stay-at-home dad. I don't know, but I know. But you can still get busy living, working for your healing. You can still do work for how you're seeing things, how you're processing, how you're healing, how you're thinking, how you're seeing, how you're moving forward for your own recovery, even if the future is completely uncertain. You don't have to sit there and die. You can get up and get busy living, even though you've been put through god-awful circumstances. And it would take me a million blogs to itemize out all the things that you have probably been subjected to as a betrayed spouse. And I'm sorry, I genuinely am. But we all have a choice how we respond. And you, if you're an unfaithful spouse, you've got to get busy living. You've put your spouse and maybe your family through an incredible amount of damage, but it can't be that there isn't a way to get healthy. There just is a way to get healthy. There's a way to get healthy for you, even if you're unsure if your spouse is going to take you back. There are methods for you to pursue healing and clarity, even though you're unsure about whether or not your marriage is going to make it. And I want to end with this. If you're a betrayed spouse, let me just affirm you. You are strong, you are confident, you are loved, and you are cared for. I don't know about your spouse, but I know God feels that way about you. If you don't believe in God, I know there's probably some people, if you look close enough, that do in fact care about you. Your life is not over. There's healing for you. Look at Harboring Hope on the website. Look at the EMS weekend if your spouse will do it. Reach out to Affair Recovery and ask them for suggestions. You can do an intake session over the phone and find out what are some steps that you can take for your own healing. But you have value, okay? You have life available for you. But you, unfortunately, have to be the one that reaches out and chooses that